Hi, folks. Ann here. Welcome to my channel. I know that I should be out doing a walk today, but I've been so busy since 7 o'clock this morning, and it's pouring out, so I don't think I'm going to get to that. I want to get over to King Mountain and do another training session to get to the top of that mountain. But anyway, so I had to run down to town and close up my apartment down there. And while I was down there, I went to Aldi's, so I did a little bit of shopping down at Aldi's. Now I did buy some food last week from Walmart, and I had them deliver it. And I did get some steak, but I wasn't that happy with it. I thought it was a little bit dry, even though I didn't overcook it. The hamburgers were all right. But so I stopped. I just spent $123 in Aldi's. Now I'm going back to the heavy whipping cream. I know I went to half and half, but I think it's better to be on this and not the half and half. So I bought some of this. Um, I bought 4 avocados, 79 cents each. I like to have my avocados. Let me see if I can get this up a little higher. I stopped buying the chops, and I'm back getting the Slim Jims. I know they're not as good as those chops, but they were a little less expensive. There's 14 sticks for I think $3.09 or something like that. And I bought some smoked bratwurst. And I'll try to put the prices on this. Now I did go ahead and get the uncured bacon. I bought 2 packs of it. It says right on it, no sugar. And I like the uncured. So I bought 2 of those. And I bought a small package of salami, pre-cut. And then I bought 2 dozen of eggs. Now I went with the $6 and change, the pasture raised, because I think this is the best, and because I eat so many eggs that I want to get the most nutrients that I can get. So I did buy 2 of these. And now I have to tell you, folks, I have some more. Hold on. I have to tell you that I think Aldi's went up a little bit. The meats, I think they're up a little bit because I was a little bit shocked with the prices. So I'll show you. And I'm going to put the prices like I always do on the screen so you could see. Now here is the hamburger patties. This was $10 for 10 of them. So it's $1, but they're thin. They're very thin. But actually, 2 of these seem to be okay. It's enough for me, I think. I bought my bratwurst. I do like that. I bought some more of the salmon. Now there's 2 pieces in here for $10, so that's $5 each. And they're not as thick, really, as what I did get in the past, but they'll be all right. Now this is where I say that I think it went up. Now this was $26.89, $7.49 a pound. And I wasn't paying that much before. I don't think I was. I'd have to look back, but it was like sticker shock for me. I was like, oh my God. And I love this chuck roast, and I had to make a choice right then and there. Do I pay for that or don't I? And I had to, because what else am I going to do? And I'm going to have, I would say, 1, 2, 3, at least 5 or 6 meals out of this chuck roast. So if you really have to think like that, it's not, that's the only thing that justifies paying that much money for a piece of meat. Now, you could tell that I never used to pay that much money. I used to buy, like, I wouldn't buy big packages. I'd buy small pieces of meat that was suitable for 1 or 2 people, and I wouldn't buy something that big. And I didn't have a lot of dinners because, I used to go to family members to go um, celebrate holidays and stuff. And I would go, and I'd be the one that does the dishes. because I don't like to cook. I don't like to cook. I'm not a good cook. And so, $27 for a piece of meat. It seemed like a lot. And I bought this again. This is the corned beef. And this piece looks a lot better than what I bought the last time. But I paid $23.68. It was $5.89 a pound. And that's a big piece. I'm going to have a few meals out of that. So I went with it. I'm going to put it in my slow cooker. That's how I like to cook it. And then I just bought the big pack of chicken thighs. It was $7.76. So this is about 3 meals right here. So that's it. And I still think Aldi's is better. I think this meat is going to be tastier. Now I know I didn't get a lot of steak. Maybe I should have gotten more pieces of steak, but I'll go again when I have to. I'm gonna get this corned beef into a slow cooker today, and I'll have that for dinner. It's 12 o'clock noon, and so I'm glad at least I got some more of this, and I'll have to make it down to Aldi's at least another time, and then maybe I could hold off for a couple of weeks. So that's it. So my apartment is gone. That's it. It's gone. I closed it right up, and uh, I met the manager down there, and he did a walkthrough with me. He said everything was fine. But I am gonna miss that apartment. I was actually gonna take a video of the empty apartment to show you, because I want to tell you, for those of you that think you need to go into an apartment, just because I had that problem with the cat upstairs, that really was the only issue for me. I love that apartment, and it was a big decision for me to move there. And I advise anybody that thinks that they need to slow down, maybe sell your home and go somewhere where you're not going to have so many obligations and responsibilities and upkeep and all of that. I highly recommend. I recommend senior apartments. Now, the apartment building I was in had a certain percentage that had to be seniors. So, but the senior buildings, they give you a discount for your age, and you're around other people that are similar to your age. I highly recommend apartments. I will not knock them. Now I know that the rent was going to go up, and the rent always does go up in apartments, but there's a limit. They can't go up too much. And, sometime when I moved into the department, it was my belief that it was worth it, because my back was hurting, and I was in worse shape than I am now. I'm still got a lot to lose, folks. But I went into that apartment because, I wasn't well at the time. Now I'm starting to get stronger. And I actually talked to the manager. I had to go and sign some papers over there. And I actually told her that I wouldn't mind. I don't know if I told you this already, and it's probably going to sound crazy, but I told her, I said, I would like to fill out an application for an apartment there. And the reason is there's a 2-year waiting list. And I love the building, I love the location. And you never know. If I don't end up down in Florida or somewhere south, you never know. Maybe it would come right at the right time when I needed to get in there. And being that I already know the building, I know the people, I love it. I think that's good to keep in the back burner there. And that's what I say. I tell people to get your application out there, folks. You don't have to make that decision right now. It could take years sometimes for your name to even come up, because there's a lot of people on the list. All of us baby boomers are trying to find apartments. And even if you're still young and you're 50, your late 50s or something, get your name on the list, because when it finally does come up, God works in ways. When that apartment came up for me, it was like it was at a point in time that I really, really felt like I needed it, and I felt blessed to have gotten that apartment. And that's what I say. But you're not going to get it if your name isn't on the list. In fact, I had my name on other apartment buildings as well, in the area, and I did get called maybe a year ago for another apartment building, and I told him I was settled. But I told him I was settled, but I said, please keep my name on the list. Put it at the end of the list. To always have my name out there. If you don't do that, you're not going to have a chance. You don't know what life is going to bring to you, folks. Have those options. Those maybe that's going to happen. I mean, even if you're a couple and you have a spouse or a loved one, and God forbid, we're getting old, and especially now, most of the people that are like in their 70s or even 80s. There were people there that were in the 90s. In fact, 3 people died in the 2 years that I lived there. But they were independent, folks. They were independent. They didn't have to go out. They didn't have to cut grass. They didn't have to shovel snow. They didn't have to take garbage too far. They had the dumpster right there. Everything is taken care of. And if they needed to move something, they had the manager there. If they had to hang something, the manager was there to help. And that's why it was so hard for me to leave that place. In the summertime, the manager would help put the air conditioner in the window. As we get older, I'm talking myself into to regretting moving, but no, I am happy up here, and this is going to be good. I'm feeling better. This is going to be good at least for a couple of years, and then I think I would like to head south. But if something changes my mind before that, and I decide I do want to go back down to the city, that's another thing. A lot of those apartment complexes are close to shopping and everything you need. And we even had a senior bus that would come around every day. I mean, you had to call and tell them that you needed a ride. So some of the seniors in the building that I lived, they all they had to do was call, and the bus would come and take them to a doctor's appointment, and then pick them up and bring them back home. And I don't think it was very much. I think I do remember somebody said it was like $3, but and it probably stayed within. I mean, if you had to go outside the county, um, folks, I'm sure they wouldn't do that. But so I'm just looking at the time. But the convenience of it all. Now, it's not assisted living. If you're going to go into a assisted living place where you really need help, I think that is much more expensive. But I don't know what they do for people that can't afford that and need assisted living. They have to take care of you. They're not going to throw you out on the street. Well, I would hope not. So, anyway, independent living, having your own apartment, your own space, and yet close enough to get help, close enough to have a little bit of interaction with friends in the building, and people looking out for you, you looking out for other people. That is not a bad thing to have. And I know a lot of you have been in your home for all your life, and there's not you don't want to leave, and you want to die right there in your home. But if you don't have children to help you out, or unless you can afford to hire people to take care of things. Now I'm hiring somebody to do the snow for me up here, and also to cut my grass. So that helps me tremendously, that I don't have to go out and do that, especially with my back the way that it is. Although my back is getting stronger because look at the way that I'm climbing Cane Mountain. Anyway, folks, now I don't know if you guys watched that video that I put out yesterday. I was thinking maybe I shouldn't have put that out because I looked horrible in that video, but I decided to do it because I was hoping that that would show some of you, that you could turn things around. You could make your life better because I'm an example of that. It's happening to me. I'm getting better. The running around that I'm able to do. I need to take care of things, and I'm running around taking care of them. And I wasn't like that before. I couldn't don't ask me to do more than one thing a day because I would feel overwhelmed. It would be too much, and I'd want to get home and get back into my chair. But that's what I wanted that video to show a lot of you, maybe, that you can make your life better. It's happening to me. Now, I only lost 20 pounds since that video that I made. That was 2024. That was just past December. And I think the 20 pounds was in my chin. Oh my God. But I still have, folks, I still have 50 pounds to lose. But I think I'm on the right track, and, I'm headed in the right direction. And I thank all of you for helping me. And I couldn't do it without you. And I just pray that those of you that haven't started yet, don't wait another day. Do it today. Like I always say, just eliminate one carb at a time if that's all you could do. And I also have to tell you folks too that it's been like 2 or 3 days and I haven't been able to get to the comments, but I am going to get to the comments. I've been reading every single one of them. And there's some of them I definitely want to comment back to you. I want to respond because, some of you have told me some really, personal things too. And just know that I'm praying for you and I hope everything turns out okay for you. And if you're on this journey, folks, you're headed in the right direction. It's going to take time. It's a slow process, but it's going to be such a tremendous improvement in your life. You're going to start getting energy. You're going to start focusing. You're going to start having a little bit of joy in your life, some hope. And that's what's happening to me. But folks, I'm going to say farewell for now. And I don't know about tomorrow. We're going to have to take each day as it comes. Now, we've had a break in the weather today, and that's probably why I can run around too, because we don't have heat. It was 62 degrees this morning when I left the house. That's so cool. And I think it's only going to get up to 67 up here in upstate New York. So when it cools down like that, it's like a window of opportunity to get the things done that needs to be done. So anyway, I'm going to get this food put away and I'm going to sign off. I'm going to thank all of you again. I'm going to thank all the newcomers that are here. I love having you here. We all love having you here. This is the best loving, caring community that is on the internet today. I believe that, folks. I believe that. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.